This was easily fixed. The incident served as a graphic reminder of the dangerous game that test pilots play. An early start is critical in the desert. Airplanes don't perform as well when it's hot. The F-22, perhaps the world's most advanced flying vehicle, is being prepped for a critical test flight. But the development of new technologies is not limited to the plane itself. Computers and the digital age have affected many aspects of the F-22 program. The flight operations function has moved from markers to computers, from 12 people to 2. This innovative part of the Raptor test program is called Ops Online. Using this system, schedules, reports, maintenance, and pilot and aircraft availability can be checked instantly. In the flight simulator, new capabilities and adjustments can be experienced and tested with complete safety.
As we develop the various versions of the software for the airplane, pilots would go back to the simulator and verify and validate that software. And of course, participating in that, as well as all of these other training activities, have made me very well prepared to fly the F-22 the first time.
In a novel approach to flight testing, the entire fuselage of the Raptor has been attached to the nose of a Boeing 757 to form an airborne test laboratory.
The Boeing company had the #1 757 that all the development for the 757 program had been done on since the early 80s. Because of the way the wings were joined, what we have is an airplane that could not be certified. So it was offered to us to the F-22 program to make a flying test bed. This is like buying a Lincoln Town car to do package delivery business in or something. It probably doesn't fit. It's too luxurious a vehicle to do this, but we had the opportunity and the cost was nothing.
The 757 is equipped with 1,200 feet of lab space, 35 engineering workstations, and a complete F-22 avionics suite. Engineers can fly for nearly 10 hours gathering and analyzing data. Future plans call for a wing that matches the F-22 to be fitted on top of the 757 to further enhance the testing of the Raptor avionics.
Everything from the F-22 that's required to make the radar and other avionics systems work is on board that 757. So when we test something there, we know what we're testing is actually going to respond very closely, if not identically, to the way the F-22 would respond. And we do it with 35 people on board instead of one pilot talking to some engineers on the ground. When you take off in an F-22 to do a radar test or some sort of systems test, what you've got on the airplane is all you're going to have for that flight. You can't make a change and then test it again. You've got to land, make the change, reload the software. The 5.7, we can make a change real time and test the results almost immediately. That's going to really affect the efficiency of our test program.
Over the years, the world of flight test has catapulted dramatically forward, and the Raptor is as far away from the first warplanes as an ox cart is from a Ferrari. In the early days, World War I airplanes were used only to gather intelligence on enemy troop strength and location. The planes were unarmed. But things changed quickly when machine guns were mounted on the planes. At first, the weapons were fired from the rear of the aircraft. Then a Dutchman named Anthony Fokker designed a mechanism to allow the firing of the gun between the propeller blades, and the era of classic dogfighting was born. Early aerial combat was brutal. The life expectancy of a World War I fighter pilot was just 17 hours in the air. Pilots quickly realized that speed and maneuverability were matters of life and death. The objective was simple: move into firing position faster than your enemy and pump bullets into his airplane. During During the Second World War, the battle for air supremacy reached a fever pitch. Old Fokker triplanes and Sopwith Camel biplanes were replaced by Spitfires, Messerschmitt 109s, and P-51 Mustangs. Fighters now dueled at speeds exceeding 400 miles per hour with powerful rapid-fire machine guns and cannon. Technology improved, but the theory was the same. Maneuver quickly, get your opponent in your sights, and blast him out of the sky. By the war's end, the American P-51 Mustang destroyed almost 5,000 enemy aircraft. During this time, even the concept of stealth didn't exist. Early British advances in radar provided vital information on the location of attacking German warplanes. After 1,700 German planes were shot down during the Battle of Britain, Germany aborted invasion plans and the tide of the war began to turn. During the Korean War, a new breed of lethal jet-powered fighters battled for control of the skies. U.S. fighter pilots flew the highly maneuverable F-86 Sabre, and despite being outnumbered and outgunned by the Soviet-built MiG-15s, the Americans shot down 739 MiGs and lost only 78 Sabres. The Sabres were vital in protecting U.S. planes operating along the Yalu River.
So we'd set up a screen along the Yalu if the MiGs tried to come across, but then if you could see them, while you'd go after them, of course. And that was basically World War II type dogfighting, except we had jets, and you're going at a much higher speed. You're still using World War II type equipment, though, in that you had 650 caliber machine guns. And there wasn't any of this remote control stuff where you see a plane, you fire a missile, and it goes out and does the work. You had to get out and maneuver somebody else, get right in behind them, and come into 500 to 1,000 feet out, close on them, and get them that way. The F-22 is going to have a lot of advances as far as maneuvering goes, but it also will have a lot of advances as far as missiles go, too. You're better prepared to shoot planes down from a standoff position, maybe tens of miles away. It's possible to shoot an airplane down without ever having seen it and flying straight and level. So the whole thing has gotten on a far more scientific and remote control basis than it was back when I was doing test work.
The Raptor Lieutenant Colonel Rainey will fly today is significantly different from the YF-23 demonstration plane. The F-22 is lighter for better performance. The shape of the wing and the horizontal stabilizer have been changed slightly to improve strength, aerodynamics, and stealth. The cockpit is moved forward and the engine inlets have moved back, giving pilots better visibility. The vertical tails are shorter than before. Originally, the tails were very large to prevent spins during the early tests.
To me, this is a very aesthetically pleasing airplane. It's particularly pleasing in the air with the gear up, the doors closed. It's very pleasing.
The YF-22 prototypes were retired after the crash in 1991. The first flight of the production model, Raptor 001, was on September 7, 1997 at Dobbins Air Reserve Base in Marietta, Georgia. Ironically, the aviator chosen for the honor of flying the mission was former F-23 pilot Paul Metz. With total emphasis on a safe flight, there wasn't much time for excitement or reflection.
You're so focused making a first flight that you don't allow external thoughts to creep in. You've practiced it. You anticipate all the emergencies. You're very focused on what you're going to do in those next few seconds and those next few minutes. So you don't allow yourself the luxury of thinking about things beyond the immediate realm of the cockpit and the flight that you have to undertake.
Raptor 001 was then shipped to Edwards Air Force Base in California. In all, 9 Raptors will be built for the 6-year test program, the success of which rests on tests like the ones that Rainey is conducting today. Data from the ground computers will be gathered and compared to information from the computer system on board the plane. One of the significant differences between the F-22 test plane and future production models is the high degree of instrumentation. There are more than 2,000 gauges and sensors placed under the skin of the test plane.
The first airplane is instrumented for structures. And so there's a great number of little devices on the wings that measure the acceleration or the forces on those wings. And they're all over the airplane. And